Well, with only 2 weeks now before teams start putting on the pads for real, we are spending the next 30 minutes looking ahead to the upcoming season. In 2024, the Houston area brought home 3 state championships. Randall, Columbus, Ganado, all winning the first football titles in their schools' histories. Having said all that, let's now dive into Class 5A and the ones below that as DQ takes us around the area. The feel-good story of the 2024 high school football season starts and ends with Richmond Randall. In only its 3rd year of existence, the Lions were a perfect 16-0 and claimed the state 5A Division II title over Dallas area mega power South Oak Cliff. And with an ultra-talented offense coming back, a return to AT&T Stadium is not out of the question. Landon Williams-Callis could be the best running back in the state. He accounted for nearly 2,500 total yards and 47 touchdowns his junior season, while quarterback Tyler Skrbanek looks to improve on his 2,100 yards passing and 27 scores from a year ago. As good as Randall is, it might not even be the best team in its district, as Fort Bend Marshall and Iowa Colony make 9-5A one of the toughest districts in Texas. Iowa Colony is coming off a 12-2 season, its only 2 losses at the hands of Randall. It has 7 starters back on the offensive side of the football, including junior Carson White, who's entering his 3rd season in control of the Pioneers offense, as well as senior wideout Jaden Warren, who's going to be staying home and playing Saturdays at the University of Houston.
These kids opened up this school freshman, sophomore in 22, and they went straight to playing varsity football in our 4A district. So, the kids have been seasoned. This was our first senior class this past season. Those kids were thrown the fire and they responded well. So that experience obviously helped it paid off this last year as making that run all the way to the quarterfinals.
And don't sleep on Fort Bend Marshall. The Buffs, a regional semifinalist last season, and with 6'6" Texas A&M commit Caden Johnson back under center, the Buffs could surpass last year's 10 wins and play deep into the playoffs. In 5A Division I, look for 11 5A rivals Angleton and LaPorte to battle it out again for the district's top spot. LaPorte beat Angleton by a touchdown last year in Week 10 to win district, only to see Angleton return the favor a couple of weeks later in the regional finals. Sean Simon rushed for 1,600 yards and 21 touches as a freshman for LaPorte and is quickly developing into one of the state's top sophomores. Returning to lead the Angleton offense, 4-year starter Bryce Duran, who was a game away from playing for a state title last season. In 4A, Bay City and Fort Bend Crawford each could make a deep run come playoff time. The Chargers made the playoffs in their first varsity season. Expectations high this year as 40 varsity players return, the best of which are on the offensive side of the ball. Quarterback Braylon Fisher and receiver Alvin Mosley.
I think we only had 3 kids who had any varsity experience on the entire roster last year. So everything we did was the first time for us as a program. We took on some really, really tough opponents there kind of in the middle of the season, but it prepared us for the district run and, going into the last game of the season, being, ranked number 2 or rated number 2 in the district, and then losing to a really good Navasota team. But still getting that 4th spot was just another week of practice for us, another opportunity for us to get better, and it's kind of catapulted us into this year.
Bay City is another team to keep an eye on. The Black Cats are coming off a 12-win season in which they averaged more than 51 points a game. If the defense improves, they could make another deep run. In 3A, Columbus won state with a remarkable senior class. 5 players from that team have gone on to D1 schools. But do not count out a Matt Schobel team. He will find a way to get his Cardinals prepared for another December playoff run.
New faces and new spots, and we'll Nobody ever checks those rankings at the end of the season, so it's we're getting ready for this for first scrimmage, second scrimmage, and then getting ready for the first game against Square.
In Division II, Tidehaven a year ago was a surprise state semifinalist and returns nearly every starter from that 12-win team. Quarterback Cale Russell had a productive offseason a little over a month ago, leading the Tigers to a state 7-on-7 title. 14 3A rival East Bernard is another squad which could find themselves in the thick of things come November. The Brahmas won 10 games under first-year head coach Jeremy Jenkins. Their 2 losses by a total of 3 points, including a 1-point loss to Tidehaven.
The Game of the Week is brought to you by DQ for treats and eats before and after the game.